Hello Internet, I'm Andy, and League of Legends is a game Ryan and I both love. We play it almost every day, and we've been playing it for probably 1.5, almost 2 years now. But it is a very intimidating game for new players to try to get into. And a guy by the name of Day9, who some of you might know, made a video called How to Get into StarCraft 2. And Day9, he is awesome, alright? And go check out his video, because he's really cool, he explains a lot of things. And all the points he makes can be transferred to basically any game. But I wanted to make a much shorter, much less awesome version, specifically for League of Legends. And maybe you want to try League of Legends after you saw one of our videos about it, or you saw another person's videos about it, or something like that. But you couldn't bring yourself to do it because it is intimidating, especially if you've never played a game like this before. So here's some tips that I've thought about, some taken from Day9's video, to help you get into League of Legends in the easiest way possible, and to make your journey a lot less stressful as you ease into the very, very scary world of MOBAs. So here are the tips, and I hope you enjoy. First, play with friends, alright? If you have a friend who wants to get into League of Legends too, and you do it together, it's going to be a lot easier for both of you, because you'll be able to motivate each other, you'll be able to talk to each other about the game, and you'll really keep your passion about League of Legends alive, because there are going to be days where you don't want to play, and he's going to motivate you to play, because he'll be like, hey, come on, I saw this really cool new Teemo build that I really want to try, let's play, and then you go play. And you both have fun, and you both get better because you're practicing. You got your fat ass off the couch. And that's really important. So do it with friends because you'll both have a lot more fun. And to this day, I still don't like playing alone. I just have much less drive if I don't have another friend in the game. So it's going to be a lot funner and a lot more enjoyable for you if you have somebody to get into the game with. Number 2, high-level players who get banned sometimes make new accounts just to keep playing, and you're going to end up playing against those high-level players on new accounts, and they were banned because they're assholes and they're just completely toxic, and those games are not going to be fun for you. You're going to lose horribly, and they're probably going to insult the sexual sanctity of your mother and suggest suicide for you and call you a whole range of names, and you're going to feel awful. And having to go through that is really annoying, it's really awful, but it happens to everybody, and it will stop the more games you play. So you just need to let those go, and don't let those kinds of losses discourage you, because those guys have way more experience with this game than you do. So obviously they're going to be able to play to a higher level than you are. And so learn what you can from those losses, but don't get hung up on them. Don't let them discourage you and keep you from wanting to play more. Because the more you play, the more the matchmaking system will be able to stop those guys from being in your games. Because as you go, they are going to jump up higher more quickly, because it's going to recognize their skill level is that of a player who's been playing much longer. So they're going to be put against players who have been playing much longer, just like in their original account. Don't let those losses discourage you. Just move on. Let them go. Third, the meta, or the overall strategy of the game to play it optimally. The meta can come later. Don't worry about the meta when you start, alright? If you want to build attack speed, Kassadin, whatever, just do it, alright? You really like playing Kassadin? You really like building attack speed? Sure, go for it. See how it works out. See what the strengths and what the weaknesses are. Experiment, have fun. Don't worry about what lane you're supposed to go to, because when you start out, nobody is going to know what they're doing, and nobody's going to know what the meta is. It's only if you got like a high-level player in that game who's like, hey, you're not supposed to do that. That's the only time you're going to hear about the meta at that point, really. So don't worry about it, and don't get hung up on doing everything precisely the right way, because at this point you're just learning the basics and you're trying to have fun. And learning the strategy, that will come later, once you've got a solid foundation and you understand how the game works and how the mechanics of the game work. So don't worry about the meta. Don't get hung up with doing everything perfectly right. Alright? Have fun, go crazy, experiment. Number 4, never fall into the trap of blaming others instead of yourself. Now, League of Legends is a team game, which means you rely on your teammates to help you secure victory. But I'm going to tell you this right now, you will never play a perfect game. You will never go through a match without ever making mistakes, and that is okay. Everybody makes mistakes in this game. Even the best player in the world, he makes mistakes. And you can learn from these mistakes. But just because your mistakes might be smaller than the mistakes of your teammates, don't just ignore them, alright? And maybe you have a mid laner who's never played the champion they're on before, and they end up feeding the enemy mid laner a bunch of kills. And that mid laner goes to bot lane, where you're trying to farm minions all on your own, and he just kills you straight up. It's very easy at that point to go, well, there was nothing I could do. I can't fight him. He has way more kills than me because our mid laner is brain damaged. It's very easy to do that, but you shouldn't do it. And yes, that your mid laner fed the enemy a bunch of kills. That does not make the game easier for you. But the reason that enemy mid laner killed you was not just because he had a bunch of kills. It was because you didn't ward river, or you weren't paying attention to your minimap, or you were overextended when you couldn't see him in mid lane. Those are mistakes you made that resulted in you dying. And if you want to get better at the game, you need to recognize those kinds of mistakes and not just ignore them because your teammates also made mistakes. A final word of note, do the tutorial, even if you don't think you need to, because it might just save you a lot of frustration later. I didn't do the tutorial, I really should have, because Dylan is a terrible League of Legends coach. Anyways, those are my main tips for how to mentally approach League of Legends, and Ryan and I aren't the most qualified to give you gameplay advice for how to become specifically a better player, but hopefully these tips will help you start this journey a little easier than some people, because it can be intimidating, it can be very daunting, and it can definitely be unfun at times if you get some bad players who just do nothing but flame you all game. But hopefully these tips will help you keep from getting discouraged and keep having fun, because having fun is the most important thing. Day9 said it in his video, I'm going to say it in mine, never stop having fun. And as for getting better, specifically as a player, I'll probably link in the description below some of the guys on YouTube that I like to watch for specifically gameplay guides, and that will be able to help you once you've sort of learned the basics, you experimented, you think you know what items are really good on certain champions, you got some favorite champions that you want to get better at, and those guys will help you learn champions, they'll help you learn the meta, you can start watching the professional scene. All those things can come later, and they'll really help you on that next step of your journey. But anyways, I hope you really enjoy your time with League of Legends, or with Dota 2, or with StarCraft 2, or whatever game you're trying to get into but you were too intimidated to before. Because these games are all really, really fun, and you're going to have a lot of good times with them. But you need to take that first leap, and it can be hard. So hopefully these have helped you. Anyways, I'm Andy. See you next time.